The wait is finally over. The wait is finally over. All of this anticipation, all of the thoughts, all of the controversy about this scene being in the movie, that scene being in the movie, fans wanted to see this, fans wanted to see that, is all over. Michael, the MJ movie, Michael is officially out. And a lot of people have a lot to say about the movie. A lot of fans, a lot of critics, a lot of movie lovers, a lot of MJ lovers have a lot to say about the movie. But we all can't speak for other people. We all can't speak for a group. You can only come to your own conclusion and own judgment. I'll be sharing, you know, my thoughts on the movie. The goal of this review is for you guys to kind of, have an understanding of where I'm coming from and what I think and why I think like this. And hopefully you lot can make your own judgment and possibly even agree with what I'm saying. So let's begin the Michael movie. To be honest, the movie was pretty predictable in my eyes. It didn't really surprise me, but I can't say that wholeheartedly. There were a lot of surprises, don't get me wrong. They did include a few things I didn't think they would, but when I saw it in the big screen, it made a lot more sense for why they included certain things. You know, I'm gonna try and keep this review spoiler free, but come on, that majority of you guys have probably watched the movie already. But you know, just how they even introduced some of the characters. It was done in ways in which I didn't really necessarily expect. But when it came to the actual plot of the movie and storyline, it was my predictions was correct. I literally said that the movie would end with him singing "Bad," and it did. So I was kind of like, yo, I knew what to kind of expect. But it was so cool seeing it on the big screen because you see, Michael Jackson is a celebrity that he has a lot of fans. He has a lot of people that love him, and he has a lot of people that hate him. You know, his whole majority of his career, his adult career, was literally slammed with allegations, slammed with controversy, slammed with rumors. So he's not treated the same way as other celebrities. And for a very long time, as a fan, I've been wanting to actually see MJ in a good light for once. Because all of the documentary that have been made about his life is always been to shame him. It's never really been to celebrate him. Documentaries, like the only thing that we have as a celebration is probably the Jackson's American Dream show. Everything else is like a humiliation. Like we actually haven't had the chance. I haven't had the chance as a fan to actually see Michael Jackson being celebrated in a way such as this movie. And it was amazing seeing that. It was amazing seeing that the director of the movie and the producers took a whole different light on his life. I really loved that. I loved seeing that. I loved seeing that they really, really wanted to leave a great impression on his legacy. And a lot of people are complaining that, oh, they're playing it safe. I mean, at the end of the day, we've seen everything. We have all the information we need. Research isn't far away, you know. A Wikipedia search isn't far away. What more do you possibly want them to do? Like, why did it have to go deep? People forget that. I mean, it's said a lot, but Michael Jackson is not it's not your average celebrity. He's not. He's lived a very long life. Very few have been famous since they were an infant. So if you had the expectation for the directors and producers to fit every single thing in from the Jackson 5 days till Bad Era, you're mistaken. You're being delusional. It's impossible. It's impossible. Like go do guys like just go do your own research. It's simple. But I like what the directors and the producers was trying to paint with this movie. They just want the fans to feel good about Michael Jackson, about his legacy. And that's what we need. We had all of the negativity with Leaving Neverland, you know, movies that wasn't really great, like, the Flex Alexander movie, things like that. We've had it all. Can for once, can we just celebrate his legacy and his life and be happy? People criticize him. That's why when I was on TikTok looking at the reviews, I was just swiping. Like people think this is just some average celebrity. This is the one of a kind celebrity that we're talking about. And you expect it to be a simple walk in the park, a simple, you know, thing to put together. It's difficult. But to be fair, the critics didn't really surprise me because, they're against Michael Jackson. They've always been against him, you know. They've always been against him. His whole career, they've always been against him. Like ever since the early '90s, whatever happened with those rumors, allegations, the critics have always been against him. So I'm not really surprised why they give the movie like 40%. That's rubbish, man. Complete rubbish, foolery. And then you give Leaving Neverland 98%. I mean, look, the narrative is being painted in front of your faces. If you can't see it, I don't know. I don't know what else will convince you. Anyways, so yeah, so I enjoyed the movie a lot. I really did. I loved how certain characters were being introduced. Like I liked how they introduced, the people around him that formed Michael. You know, Quincy Joneses, the John Brancas. All of those people. Even his family, but we get to that later. I liked how they, you know, and I understand because they didn't really want to spend too much time on how Michael met this person and that person because the movie will be 4 or 5 hours. But like, I liked how certain characters were being introduced. I liked how they went straight to it with Quincy Jones. Straight to it. We don't need a movie. We don't need a scene of him meeting Quincy, things like that. Straight to it. I loved that. I loved that a lot. You know, I really did. I loved how fast paced it was as well. The fact that it was going straight to the point most of the time. It wasn't trying to waste too much time on certain things and certain facts. You had Michael, young boy from Gary, Indiana. He so happened to have the talent of singing and dancing. His father recognized it, rehearsing all of the time. They meet Barry Gordy. Um, they get signed to Motown. From there, became Jackson 5. Went straight to, him about to depart from his brothers. Off the wall, thriller, bad, simple. I liked how, there was no. And it makes sense. I can kind of get why some fans and some people didn't really appreciate that. But I understand, like, look, it'd be too much to cover in one movie. That's even why they're making a sequel or a part two. It'd be too much. And we just need to understand that it's not no ordinary celeb we're dealing with. People just need to do their research, honestly. You know, Jafar Jackson was amazing. Jafar Jackson was like, I was seeing Michael Jackson literally in my eyes. And it was really, it made me so happy, you know. It made me so happy, you know. Because this is like, it felt like a whole new adaptation as well. But at the same time, it felt original too. You know, and this is something for the new generation to experience too. It's as if they were literally alive during the time NJ was in his prime, and that's because of how clear it is through this movie. You know, and I just loved. He was, as I mentioned, since day one. I knew he'd be the perfect match. You know, I think the era that he did perfectly. I think it was the off the wall era. I think during that period, I think he done an amazing. Thriller era was great, but I think from him bridging off to doing off the wall, I think his performance there was spectacular. You know, absolutely spectacular. You know, I think the part I liked the most as well was the making of Thriller 2. The making of the album was one where I was I was glued onto the screen. Like I was just they didn't do too much. I wasn't trying to, but it was enough for me to kind of get where this thing is going. You know, it was enough. You know, I like seeing him in the scenes. I like the beat scene as well. When he's teaching the gangsters how to dance, like that was really fun to watch. That was really fun. Really fun to watch. A lot of people had a lot of things to say about the Thriller music video, about how he didn't really look right, but I thought that was fantastic. I liked how they just introduced things to so quickly, like because look, like this is a lot of people know the story, so what's even the point of trying to go deep into it? But I liked how they just introduced the Thriller music video like that, bro. It's him. You know, let me not spoil it for you guys. But yeah, like the way they just introduced it was amazing. It was really amazing, man. It was really amazing. And then Joe Jackson too, he felt unreal. Coleman Domingo, like he done a fantastic job. That those two, Jafar Jackson, Coleman Domingo, amazing. I love their chemistry. I can imagine their relationship to be like that, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But that was amazing to see. You know, really, really. You know, but of course, I can't stand it act like it was perfect. I would say I feel like I wasn't the biggest fan of the track list. Like for example, um, towards the end, the victory tour, especially when he wanted to depart from his brothers, that specific performance is one of my favorite performances, and they kind of picked that over another song, you know, and this is my personal thing. It would have been more real if they just stuck to the song. You guys can go look up on YouTube, like search up when you watch the movie afterwards, search up Victory Tour last performance. It's two different songs. And I just feel like that wasn't really accurate, you know. Even the human nature performance, like that it didn't even sound it didn't necessarily sound like it was that MJ of that time period. Victory had a different type of sound. It was still mid 80s. Like the sound then was different. That one sounded like a more later version of that song, as well. And I didn't really favor that much. I want it to be accurate. I just want it to be on point, the exact same way it was. I understand that they're trying to change things up, but I just didn't. I didn't really favor it too much, you know. Yeah, and then it would have been nice to see certain scenes as well. It would have been definitely nice to see certain other scenes too. Like we got the Motown 25, but we didn't really get the actual BDG music video. And the Grammys as well. Like it would have been nice to see the his reaction to him not winning all those Grammys were off the wall. It wasn't really included, you know. To be fair, there was some scenes that they did miss. They missed quite a lot of scenes, to be fair, and I can understand why it will mess up and be a problem to some fans. But I understand at the same time, like the movie's like 2 hours and 7 minutes. Like there's only so much they can fit in. Like it's not really. I don't know. Maybe it was a rule from the um the film company that the movie has to be only 2 hours and 7 minutes. Who knows? But like a part of me was saying that it shouldn't have been even longer. It should have been at least 2 hour 30 minutes. But like of course they probably had to, follow the film regulations or whatever. But overall, Michael was a really great movie. Like it was, I left that cinema feeling happy, feeling proud that I'm an MJ fan. I left that actually seeing MJ, like seeing who he is as a person. I think they done a great job on that too. Like seeing that he really wasn't normal. He didn't have a normal life. And it kind of makes sense for how he was and the man he became to be. Like I liked how they shaped that in the movie, like, and I understanding a lot more now. Yes, I'm a fan, but it's best when you see it live. Oh, and I believe I saw it live also. That was a really really great thing that they did, you know. But MJ was a great movie. Ratings, I'll probably give it like 8.5 out of 10. You know, I just maybe if the track list was on point, they made sure that certain songs actually matched certain moments in his career, like the victory tour. I think it would have been better. And if they included maybe a few more scenes, give us some more backstory, give us some more, you know, go into depth with certain ideas that he had. I would have loved to see like a recording of an unreleased song. That would have been cold. Like a recording of Carousel, um, you know, so a recording of some unreleased songs on Thriller, some hints on that, that would have been great. But it's been a boy Nats, aka Hidden Legend. Hope you guys understand my review. What do you think about the Malcolm movie? Did you enjoy it? Obviously, let me know and stay legendary.